Okay, now you can hear me in double, as if one of me wasn't bad enough. Okay, I think I am live. I hope I am live. I think I'm live. I think I'm live. I think I'm live. But did this do the wrong time again? I'm annoyed. Well, anyways, welcome to another technical difficulties ridden office hours. Please mute, or I will sever mute you if people start to complain, because I want people to be able to ask questions and hear the answers, and sometimes the YouTube audio messes up. I'm coming live from a cookout that my students are one student, one roommate is helping me. Thanks so much, Nate. So yeah, start pouring with the questions. I am going to, oh God, it's gonna keep doing that little like, oh, people join the chat noise. So I'm going to start looking at Reddit questions that Avadno asked, because Avadno actually enjoys not annoying me by asking last minute questions. Yeah. And there's like hair dogs and yeah, help yourselves to stuff. Thank you. Okay. So, do any of y'all have questions? If one. Wait, what the heck? Can anybody hear me? This is bad. It's going green when I go. Oh, okay. Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me better now? Say in the chat if you can hear me. I guess not. Okay, let me, because computer Discord is a sin. No, it's not. Okay. Okay. How's this? It's what? Not even here? Okay, can you hear me now? Say something if you can hear me. That's so dumb. Okay, so the thing went green on my Discord to say, oh, speech is coming in. But then no one could hear me. Now on the Discord, oh my God. Now on the Discord, on my phone, it's going green. It's not going green, but now people can hear me. Yeah, I think it might be easier to take that thing off. I just kept it so like flies wouldn't get in. Oh my God, you are all never getting answers to your questions again. Okay. Let's pick an answer by Impressionist Boy who's not going to troll me. Oh, you can chat here too. Hard long, you can chat here. Chat here. Okay, ask questions here. Like, nobody wants to ask questions, but everyone wants to ask questions when this is over. Like, we're not doing that this time. Ask your questions while I'm here. Give me my roses while I'm alive. Okay, so, I'll just start with this. Can exercise help increase lung capacity? Then I know which question I'll answer after this. So, yes, exercise can increase lung capacity just because like you're using your lungs more, so it can behaviorally increase how good of a deep breath you can get, but the vital capacity, like how much your lungs can expand and everything, I don't think changed that much with exercise. But both your behavioral efficiency with breathing and your so I'm watching like leopards fighting, your behavioral efficiency with the air that you get, and also your respiratory like efficiency with how much your blood can take oxygen and how well your body utilizes that oxygen can increase as well, which I think starts to decrease the drive for like how much breath you feel that you need, and how much like oxygenation your body tends to need. That's why when you have like really good Olympic conditioned runners, they will tend to have like slower than average heartbeats. So yes, you can condition that, but also you don't need that much conditioning. Can I mute this tab because I don't want a damn notification? Yes. Um. Oh my God, can we please ask real questions? Like, no, let's not do that today, please. Okay, so yeah. Also, yeah, just take that off and use. I just put it back on to cover it. And there's plastic cups at the table. Um, oh my God. And you can use the vodka or like if you want to take out the yeah, it's not already in there because I don't know like who was a drinker, who wasn't. Okay, so a huge misconception is that you need really good breath to sing, but it's like you don't need Olympic level breathing. You don't need like Michael Phelps level breathing. You just need to be able to hold the breath that you do have and use it efficiently while you sing. So you don't need some like super cataclysmic hold my breath until the second coming of Jesus level of breath control. You just need to be very efficient with the air that you have. So cardio can help with that, but as Aretha damn well demonstrates, you can definitely have a very powerful voice without necessarily being like somebody's track star. Because Aretha was a lot of great things, but she was not a track star. And yet she could still do like powerful, loud notes and not sound out of breath and have a baseline like breathy voice well into her like 70s and didn't need to be a track star to do it. So you don't need to be a track star to do it. You just need to manage your breath well. So range ranking low M1 notes. M1, like, so when you, because I'm actually with someone now, William, right? Say hi to my 2 fans. All of 2 fans. You can send them here. You can send questions here. Okay, Megan, I see your question about growling. Give me a couple seconds to get to that. Okay, so range ranking M1 low notes. So do you know around, because we're talking about you having issues with low notes, do you know around what range you started encountering like difficulties with low notes?
Well, I think where I was noticing it today was like below A2.
Thank you. You use letters and numbers. I love people that use letters and numbers. So below A2, there's actually something called the grave extension, which is a really like dense, low, baritone sounding part of M1, and that's where like the closed quotient really spikes. So your vocal cords get like glued together more, and that's why it gets like jolted. Is like definitely from that A2 down to maybe like A1 lowest. It can be easy to interrupt. Rather than like M0, which is like a little bit easier to hold steady once you get the hang of it. So yeah, that they might be asking about something like this. So low M1 notes. I've heard so much on the server on how to range wank high with M1, M2, and 3, but still have no idea on how to range wank low notes. What coordination are required to get lower and lower notes? How fast is progress usually on this kind of wanking? Is there a way to test if it's M1 like the pop test? Is there a limit to how low AFABs without T? AFABs, people who are assigned female at birth, can go compared to AMABs. Very juicy question. Oh my God, can we ask a more specific question about nasality? Ask me something more specific and I'll try to answer something about nasality, but I don't know where to start on nasality. So, let's break down all these different questions. What coordinations are required to get lower and lower notes? Usually one's inquiring more and more vocal fold approximation. The vocal folds getting closer to each other. So you're going to be working with like an increasing closed quotient and M0. Obviously you're going to start dealing with fry. And the ability to sort of like go into that, especially in a relaxed way, like allow your vocal cords to extend into each other, as opposed to using these like adductor muscles to forcibly compress your vocal folds together. You want them to kind of come together effortlessly. So, like both my low notes are crap. Everybody knows this. But is that a bear or a kangaroo or a koala? Damn, nature is scary. Okay, so there is a lot to be said for sort of going into lower notes relaxedly, because I can go way lower like this when I have relaxed high close quotient. Then when I have a very forced high close quotient, you can hear sort of these like accessory muscles making me sound tense as opposed to heavy and dreary. So you want that kind of like heavy dreary sound, and that'll help you. Wow, y'all are a mess. Okay, so okay, head, voice, and belt. I will get to that in a second. After I get to the growls. So, how fast is progress usually? It depends. It really depends on the person. But it can be slower just because I think people aren't motivated to do the low note range winking because high notes are so much more exciting. Is there a way to test if your low notes are M1? It gets iffy with the M0, but I feel like you should know around like D2 and below it starts to become like iffier territory. But give yourself like M0 as a reference point, and then sort of maybe practice popping out of that, and sort of feel what it feels like to discontinue that M0, and then try like going back and forth on that note between what you think is M1 and what is definitely M0. But the pop with M0 to M1 is not as juicy as the M1 to M2, so it's difficult. And then spectrogram, you might be able to look at one of those and figure out from the harmonic information. But there really isn't, above D2, there really isn't much functional M0, at least in my experience, to be had if it's like out and out M0. Rather than like M0 interfering with M1 or like Fry interfering with M1. Is there a limit to how low AFABs can go? Mariah Carey has a nice clean E2, and there's definitely a lot of AFABs out there getting deep into the grave that we talked about, extension of this like low, below A2 notes. There's plenty of evidence of AFABs doing that, but low notes aren't as prized culturally as high notes. So I just feel like there's not enough social pressure to get the kind of data. Nate, if you have vocal questions, feel free. You've more than earned the right to, even if you just want to ask about your homework and your specific voice questions. Oh, you saw that there's buffalo sauce, right?
No.
On the table.
Where?
On the table in the saucer with the green thing sticking out of it. Yeah, sauce for it. And feel free to use the lettuce as, I should probably put like plastic. You mind putting like a plastic utensil in there so people can like serve themselves salad? There's also salad if y'all want some, and dressing right next to it at this table. Yeah. Okay. So, growls. Oh my God, I hate you. No, she's in E2 before, and there's definitely AFABs that have gone lower. I'm not sure if I've heard a D2. But yeah, let's get to nasal growls. Oh, hey Nikki. Okay, I'm seeing the question. Can you tell by listening to a voice the best genre fit? I will get to that in a second. So growls, there's the epiglottal ones that are activated during conodals. That sounds sort of like this. So this is conodal. And then if I growl during it, it's like that. And then if I do a regular like clean growl, I can be like, I can do something like that. So how you activate that is usually finding a good way to increase air pressure. Feel free to ask a question. So find that by like really breathing out into it. It's like, and that'll help you do it safely without like having your vocal folds have eye impact and getting irritated. Phonotrauma. Question?
I got one more burger and then I'll have a question.
Oh, what? One more?
I have one more burger on the
Okay. How is it?
It's good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Did you get the sauce?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Hopefully that helped, because like I use the Safeway brand tofu for the tofu burgers, and I'm realizing that it's kind of grainy and dry, so it definitely needs the sauce.
Yeah.
So, yeah, lob that stuff on there. Oh my God. Okay. So Yeah, that's growling. Okay, Nikki asks, can you tell by listening to a voice the best genre fit? So, that is something that I would do initially for a voice, but I don't like to say your voice is this genre and only this genre alone. Um, you can tell by combination of phrasing, so how you deliver a song. So, like Jennifer Hudson has very heavy, pronounced, like rhythmic, aggressive phrasing. So like, and I am telling you, like that kind of thing, versus like, and I am telling you. Like it's not as aggressive. Not that the first one wasn't supremely loud or anything, but the phrasing is part of how you tell. So like how someone tends to naturally phrase and the texture of their voice, like a raspier voice. So a voice that naturally sounds kind of like this might be better for rock. So there's things like that, but these are all things that can be changed and aren't like a static thing. Yeah, y'all could be here, but you playing games. Um, okay, so nasal. How do I feel? Nasal is nasality. I like nasality with M2 because a lot of people tend to miss it. I like hypernasality as a modification. I think it's really slept on. Very intentional hypernasality. So, what's her name? Heather Headley's Aida is a great example of hypernasality. So, all I have to do is forget how much I love him. Passion would have cooled, and all the magic would have died. Like, I really love the kind of darkness that it brings to the voice. And nobody ever takes advantage of that. People only talk about it as some, like, kind of baseline thing that they don't use for any artistic purpose. It's just like, I want my voice to sound correct. So I'm going to use the correct amount of nasality. But doing nasality aggressively is great for darkness, but you have to be careful because it redirects airflow from the mouth, and consonants and vowels happen in the mouth, vowels in the mouth, notes in the throat. You can get sort of like this mushy mouth kind of sound. Like, did you find that like adding nasality? You're on candid camera. Did you find that added nasality? You can barely see it. The lighting is not great. Did you find that adding nasality was like directly competing with trying to be able to like be understood when you're
yeah,
into?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just I guess it's just finding that balance. I'm
Yeah.
still working on it, but like it's just the manga exercise
Yeah.
that we did. That definitely helps, and like I guess just keep trying at it. And you would have me write down lyrics.
Yeah.
And actually look at the lyrics while I'm singing. That way I can get it out clearly.
And has that helped?
Yes.
But do you still feel like nasality is somewhat of like a necessary color in order to have like my M2 is part of my real voice, not like this thing I'm up here. You can be honest.
It depends what you're going for. Like you could go for like the choiry, like castrated sound. if that's what you're going for, then go for it. Like maybe nasality isn't the same thing. I feel like there's uses for with and without.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you want to switch from M1 to M2, I feel like maintaining that nasality is definitely necessary.
Yeah, like helpful maintaining a sort of like continuity. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Hey. Help yourself to food. Okay. So let's see if there's any new YouTube questions. Please don't troll. Okay, so working on riffs. Riffs going into low notes easier. Okay, so sorry. Chris Greenfield asks, hi, I keep getting feedback that I sing too talk singy when I'm singing deeper songs. I was wondering how to make it sound better. For reference, one time I got this feedback while singing Staying With Me down 1 octave. Yeah, hey. Okay, I have real people with me now. See, I'm not a failure. Okay. Look, Mondo fans. So, that's what I like to call like the baritone or bass curse. is like when you sing down low. It tends to sound kind of dark and dreary and talky. You can Krampus. You'll want to hit him up. He's watching this live right now as well. Krampus is working on trying to get out of that, making those like low notes sound more vivacious and singy. You'll want to try a combination of trying to find ways to get ring, what's called the singer's format. So you can get that by like, there's cups right there. There's like a strawberry mixed drink thing where you add your own alcohol. There's straws. What? Strawberry, cherry, guava, lime, and like cherry blossom. It's a lot. I need to come up with like names for these drinks. So I was gonna say, yeah. So you want to try to find ways to make ring. Yeah, you can leave that. Yeah. Yeah, it falls off all the time. I should probably like warn people about that. Okay. So, oh yeah. It's actually like staying for now. You have the magic touch. Oh my God, heterophobic.
Wipe this so it doesn't dry.
There's napkins over there.
Is this playing?
Yeah. Thank you so much. You're the best. I mean you, Shema. Okay. So, yeah. You'll want to try to find ways to get ring. Ring is something you'll probably have to research a little bit. There's several ways of getting it, but you'll want to get more ring, and you want to have some vivaciousness with your phrasing. So if you're singing a low song, you won't want to sing like this. If you're singing a low song and you want to sound more like you're singing, you want to try to sing with more active phrasing, just like this. So, like that still sounds kind of like aggressive, lively phrasing. Yes, phrasing, wonderful phrasings. 10,000 points to the next person, to the person who can get the phrasing. Beautiful phrasing, wonderful phrasing. Who can get that timely reference? Okay. You're real. You pay me. Yes, you are real, and you pay me. You're real over the internet. Okay. Runs going into low notes. For runs going into low notes, you'll want to. Oh, did you have a question?
No, keep going.
Voice question?
Keep going.
For runs going into low notes, for just runs in general, if you find that you're having problems with them, like practice them in whatever's easiest for you. So do it like an octave up, so just so you get the structure of the run down, and then do it the octave down so that you can kind of like know what to expect and have some muscle memory of the run. Oh my God, just like left that butterfly alone. That's amazing. Are you able to see it?
No.
Oh no, I thought you were like watching it from behind. Like how?
Are there knives there?
Yeah, they're plastic cutlery. Are you looking for like a knife?
I just need something to
Yes.
cut the... Oh, okay, cool. The meat wedge.
Okay. So yeah, like if I'm doing a run in belt, like I'm gonna do like not the highest bucks. I'm not trying to like bother everybody, but like if I'm doing like a run in belt, it might be easier to be like and like do that first, so I kind of like have a muscle memory for how that is, and then when I'm doing a more difficult range coordination, I'll already have the run sort of memorized, so I can do that. So that's kind of a good way to cheat for it. For more help with runs, join Premium, where I give riff breakdowns in the Riff Repository channel, and we'll help you with them live in the study station. So plug. Support me on Patreon so I can stop recording these videos with a potato. Okay, Raging Stormo. I'll get you a question in 1 second. And the same vein as range drinking with lows, I can go pretty low with aggressive phonation, but I need the question. That's not even a question! Where's the question grammatically? Because you are white. What? Okay, I'm not seeing the question here. I will get to that later, Rika. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure what the question is. Okay. What register terms do I use for teaching students? I used to use, and Nate can attest, I used to use like strobos, chest, head, whistle. Does that sound like familiar, including the strobos?
Strobos, no.
You don't remember that?
Everything else.
Yeah, everything sounds familiar. Strobos, we so few people use it. It's like this. So yeah, it's like the super low. It's like when I did remember the hands and the arms. So it's like
Yeah.
this is the low one. This is the one above that. This is the one above that. This is the one above that. Yeah. So this is strobos. Okay. So AKA M0. So, I used to use those. Now I use the mechanisms because people get so many things when they look up registers, and I think the term with laryngeal mechanisms, there's so much more controlled. Like there's so much more quality controlled. So I tend to use those. Okay, let's see if there's any. Coffin, who I think is Kayaton. I can't even remember. How do I sing higher in M2 but not feel like I'm squeezing or pushing your larynx? SFETs, all that good stuff. That can be good for making you not push as much. To get even higher, to get like, especially above A5, there's another drill, but that's premium. Dama Terasa asks, when I'm practicing my lower range with a song, sometimes I can hit the low notes, and sometimes when the low notes cut. Sometimes I can hit the low notes, and sometimes the low notes cut out. It helps to know exactly what low note you're on. I am guessing if you are an AFAB, someone who's assigned female at birth, or just generally have a more feminine vocal profile, those people can tend to, not that there's any absolutes about what AFABs and AMABs can do. They can do anything they damn well like work hard enough to do. There's alcohol for spiking, right next, and there's salad. Yeah, it's water. Ask Josh if he has any voice questions when you go over, because he can come over and ask them. Okay, so if you're hitting like low notes like this, like that's how you're hitting low notes, you can kind of cut out just because of being super breathy. But I need to know like a little bit more about the specific range. Hey, you here for the voice thing? Yeah, pop a squat. There's barbecue behind you. There's some meat that's been done. There's some more food at this table. There's a drink that you kind of you determine how much alcohol you want in it.
Oh no, I don't want any, but thank you.
Oh yeah. Feel free to like ask any voice questions anytime, and please have a seat. Join us.
I will join it.
Yes. Oh, what's your name, by the way?
LaDonna.
Oh, sorry. Let me shake. I'm sorry.
Charles, right?
Yes, Charles. Nice to meet you. And here is a card. Nice to meet you. I'm answering questions via live stream, but I don't want to seem like I'm not like here with y'all. So if you have anything to say,
So far, how many questions
we talked about so many different things. I guess you give a recap. What have I talked about so far? Because I just be running on nothing and answering questions.
I don't know. I can't.
Let's the last thing. Does that say anything like? Because we talked about the low note thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
growling, nasality?
Yeah. We talked about growling. So like this or this. And we talked about nasality. Have you ever heard of Heather Headley? Have you ever heard of Aida? The music.
Yes.
In my mind, you've heard of Heather. She has a very like hyper nasal voice. So we're talking about the way that can make like a voice sound very like dark and rich and regal. She sang a song from. She played Aida in a musical called Aida. I think it's called Aida. And there's a song called Easy as Life, and her take on it just like is so dark and regal. I love her version of it. because it's about like giving up on love. And it's like it's so dark and wonderful. Like I have a voice. So basically, her voice sounds kind of like, all I have to do is forget how much I love him. Passions would have cooled, and all the magic would have died. Those are like without the extra nasal. It's like, all I have to do is forget how much I love him. Do you hear the difference? All I have to do is forget how much I love him. So that kind of like darkness, that nasality adds to the voice. It's just putting more air through my nose. A lot of people think nasality is this, but this has nothing to do with the nose. It's controlled by what's called the areopaglottic sphincter, or the areopaglottic folds. They're actually inside your throat, so it has nothing to do with your nose. But this sound, what I'm doing right now, is actual nasality. Like actually, like anatomically, air is literally going more through your nose. A lot of people get those confused. So that's the summary of one of the many things I talked about. But feel free to ask questions, even about your own personal voice. Even if it's like, oh, I want to sing for you, and what's happening to my voice right now when I'm singing. By all means, feel free to interrupt. Until someone interrupts, I'll be on this. But please feel free to interrupt and have food.
So while you're on that, are you going to talk out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna read the questions and then talk out loud. If you want to like huddle over and look at the computer screen, it might be kind of hard to see, but I'll read the questions out loud. Yeah, it might be kind of hard to see. So, also sometimes I find myself getting a lot of saliva in my throat while singing certain songs that have little breathing time. It feels like I have to choose between breathing and swallowing. Is there a way to prevent that buildup while singing? I find that having like dryness can make the saliva secretions a lot thicker. So that might be what like prompts you to need to swallow it. Like I named some of the cardinal foods that are like, okay, if you want to avoid mucus, don't get too many of these. And I'll say stuff like dairy and meat. And one of the things I say is sugar, because if you have a bunch of sugar and not a lot of water, it can sort of like dry out and make you like salivate, but at the same time not have much water to thin out those salivary secretions. So you'll want to avoid having something too sugary, get some water, keep your mouth hydrated, so that like if you have a bunch of dry air hitting you and you're salivating, that's not this like dry spittle that, sorry for the image, that is hard to sort of get caked from being caked on your vocal questions. Oh, okay. Oh, dang. The mic is only picking up my voice. This is awful. Yeah. Hopefully that is helpful. Time your breaths actively. If you feel like you just don't have enough time to do either, because like you have like little breathing time. So do the song in slow-mo and look at like places to have breath. But yeah, I'd sort of need to know more about you in, okay, how long before a performance did you have a meal to drink? I'd say like 20 minutes to an hour. Because you definitely want and have you experienced this with the screaming? Like that. No.
What's the question?
Have you experienced this with the screaming, like with your band, that not having a bunch of food beforehand, it's harder than if you have some food beforehand?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Ringing endorsement, y'all. Okay. So, yeah, if you don't have food immediately before something, it's like you just don't have enough mucilage for your vocal folds. The saliva thing could happen. So hopefully that's like addresses why you're getting saliva, but I don't know about like every single reason.
I want to revisit you telling them to do the song in slow motion and find places for breath.
Yes.
Give us an example.
Okay, so it's hard because I don't have a bunch of songs memorized, but one thing you can do, okay, so we have a question about, an in-person question about, because apparently this mic is not picking up what people say, so I'm going to repeat what people say, and I'll read the questions that I read on here back out to y'all. So, we have a question about slowing songs down and blocking out breaths. So, before doing that, just for context, I think you should really actively make sure you're handling your diaphragm mechanics well. And if you want a test on that, like a way to sort of like test to see if you're using your diaphragm efficiently. It's not rocket science, but something that some people overlook while they're in the heat of singing. If you want a demo of that, I'm sure that would help people on the live stream as well. So if either of you if anybody wants a demo, have I done like the diaphragm push on you before?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. So he's already done it, so he didn't get to go again.
So then you can go again.
No, be brave, y'all.
It's not that I'm not brave. Like you said, I don't have a bunch of songs memorized.
Oh no, this is something that you don't even need to have a song. You just go okay.
Stand up.
Okay. So, I'll have you do it to me first to show you that it's not scary. And then you be my other assistant
what I'm
and
doing,
hold
just
behind
poking
me.
you?
Yeah. You'll poke me in a second. Let me take this off. You'll stand behind me so I don't fall over because my feet are super sweaty in these sandals. I'm going to fall over. Okay, so catch me if I start moving back. Like, put your hands behind me so I know you're there. Hopefully they can hear me. Yes. It takes a team. It takes a village, y'all. Takes a village. Okay, so you're gonna press on me while I sing. I'm gonna let you deflate me. So push into me with a vengeance, and you put your hand on my back so I know I'm not gonna fall over. Okay, yeah, go ahead. You can push, but like push with like a fist or something, so don't like jab.
I was wondering.
Yeah. So push in like really hard. Don't be afraid to push hard. Okay, so I'm gonna let my diaphragm deflate. I'm not letting it happen right now, but I'm gonna let it deflate in a second. So. Go ahead, push. Dude, I'm deflating. You see, I'm deflating, and like my diaphragm slowly sinking in. Okay, now if I hold my diaphragm out, it's called the upper belly magic spot by Lisa Papillo, who's a great voice teacher. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do the same thing. Push hard. So you see how it's not going in? So that's like really that's all you have to do. So it's like tense that out, don't let me deflate you. Okay, so now you'll be doing it. Thank you so much for catching me. Now do you want to be my mic holding assistant? Thank you so much. So I'll hold you from the back and the front as well. So you'll let me deflate you, just hold a note. Let me deflate you. Do you see how like it really knocks the air out of you?
It's like it felt good.
Yeah. Okay. Now don't let me knock the air out of you. Open up. Isn't it so much easier to hold a note like that?
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's a little bit intense. It's just I do it just once to show you like this is what you're doing, but it really helps to feel it because you can't really feel it when there's no resistance against it. Oh, if you want to sit back down, go ahead. Oh, please, if people want food, have food. Okay, so yeah. Why not? I think I'm mostly full battery. Thank you so much, Nate. Oh, screw it. Okay. What? Oh my God. Apparently the mic cable got disconnected. The thing is though, if there's something like the blue light stays on the entire time. Dang.
nobody heard it here.
Hopefully it was saved somewhere. Okay. This is looking like it is doing the most. So let me bring that down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to be right here with this mic. So, yeah, hopefully that helped someone else out. What about when talking about the different aspects of M1 and M2? So I'm guessing like you're talking about using register terminology to talk about the different aspects of M1 and M2. And yes, I think register terminology, so if you don't know, M1 is what a lot of people call chest voice. So like, M2 is what a lot of people call head voice or falsetto. So the way like I tell the difference is like the pop test. You remember the pop test? Mm-hmm. Demonstrate a good pop test.
With like
yeah, any note. Yeah, with the pistachio.
Give me a note.
Crap, because if I give you a note, you're going to hear the... Okay, one second. Let me move a note on this. I should have my melodica out here. There we go. Okay, so do M1 first. Do M1 and pop it.
Should I go an octave lower?
So like and then pop. Yeah. Okay, now do the first one and show that's M1 with the pop test. So kind of. Okay, I'll go really quickly. So the way I tell the difference between M1 and M2, chest and head. M1, you can break out of it. You hear that break? So the note didn't change. It's just the break happened. So I can't do that inside of M2 or head voice. I can't make it break. If y'all want to try it out for yourselves, feel free to try it out. Don't be afraid to make ugly sounds. That's how we get better. But yeah. So inside of M1, there's different kinds of M1. Like M1 is used for what a lot of people call belting. So like a loud musical shouting note. It's like that's M1, and it can do that break again. You hear the break? So that's M1. But not everybody will call that chest voice. Some people will call that belting. Some people call it like chesty belt. Some people would call that like in tenors. Sometimes they call it head voice. So there's different like register terms, and they don't necessarily. Josh, if you have any questions, feel free to ask voice questions. I crave them. I need questions. Okay, on belting, past A4. Make sure you get the belting module for advice on that. The belting module, maybe even like the mechanism, what registers this anyways, module, good stuff in both. Okay, so, what was I saying? So yeah, register terminology can be useful for describing like what kind of M1, what kind of M2, but I'd like to not use them to define the mechanisms because they're ambiguous and confusing. But if I want to say like I'm using a more falsetto-y M2, I'm using a more head voicey M2. So if more falsetto-y M2 would be more like this, while the more head voicey M2 would be more like this or this, and then more like mixed sounding M2 would be like this. So you want to be able to differentiate between those, and just saying M2 doesn't differentiate between those. But if you use register terminology for everything, it's there's too many lies. Belting past A4. Let me pull up the Reddit question on that. For those of you that are interested, make sure you get on the server and somebody gave a good answer. Or a good-looking answer. Let's read this answer. So, let's read the question first. I've heard that when you get to A4 belted, you have to change your strategy as you go higher. What changes? Do you not fatigue train anymore? What new things do you incorporate? What physiologically causes this change? Because I have no funding, I can't test this. But I'm trying to get out to the... oh my god, that frog just like shook that fly off. So... I am trying to get out to GBMC where they have a stroboscopy. So if you're watching this and you're in the Maryland area or you'll be passing through the Maryland area, every month they have a voice screening where they take a camera and you can actually look at your vocal cords real time. And I even had a video recorded one of the times I did it. God, wasps are just awful. And I was able to sort of see what things actually look like. When I don't have that, which is most of the time, I kind of have to guess based off of the literature I've read and based off of like the feelings. So what changes happen in M1 as you get past A4? And it's hard to tell. I would guess maybe the amount of your vocal cords that's vibrating gets smaller. Closed quotient might increase, it might decrease. I'm leaning towards increase with the literature, but we need more literature, and we need more of me getting my throat looked at. So, do you not fatigue train anymore? Fatigue training is basically, for those of you who don't know, it's like if you're trying to get better at belting, it's like the sirens. So, let's do a couple belting sirens.
Sirens?
Yeah, not sirens, the fifths.
Okay.
Okay. So let's do this. me do this once. You can blue mage it. Yeah. So, you notice like how that break happened. You got it though. How that break happens. Eventually, as you start pushing your voice to the outer limits and you start repeating this drill over and over, you will lose the stamina to keep doing those belts over and over. A lot of people think, oh, my voice is damaged. But can you testify that's like you get better when you tire your voice out?
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Where was I?
Same for the people in the back.
Belting?
Where were you starting with belting? I cannot remember where you started, period, but you didn't, like, I think you couldn't get past G4 the first time.
No, I couldn't.
Now we got you up to the B flat.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you keep going.
So to rewind what you're saying for those of us who didn't have music classes, if I keep practicing that over and over and over, I'm going to get better.
Yes. It's not so much a musical thing, like there's scales involved, and that's just sort of like the way you dole out the exercise, but the exercise isn't learning that scale or learning the interval. It's just hitting those notes over and over, those tiring ass notes, and the more you hit them, the better you become at them long term. In the short term, your voice will get tired. Like, has anybody ever gone to a party and lost their voice? Yes, exactly. But then after a few days, your voice comes back. It's the same kind of thing, that your voice gets weaker because of use, but then it comes back stronger.
So how do you relate this to non-singing vocal endeavors? For instance, I do long-form narration. It's very difficult to sustain one voice for very long, and then if I leave it, it's difficult to pick it up again without rewinding what I've just recorded and listen and get back into that.
Your voice sounds so good. I should have put the microphone on you while you asked that question, but I wasn't thinking. I was so transfixed on your lovely voice. So, sorry, name again, Dan? LaDonna. I knew there was a D in it. Okay, so, LaDonna asks about voice training for long narration, so like audiobooks and type of stuff, right? So, long reading can still be tiring to the voice. In fact, can anybody guess like what one of the top professions, if not the top profession, it's either the top third or the third to the top, or the top voice profession for losing your voice? What would you guess that profession is? Okay, so we have a guess for opera singer. Do you have a guess for what the most like voice loss profession is?
TED Talks.
TED Talks. Teacher. School teacher is actually the most like one of the most for people like going in and like seeing an ENT because they lost their voice. So even just long form talking can be really draining to your voice. It's not necessarily about like being an opera singer and doing like these incredible things with your voice. Just like long voice usage. So it's not that you're necessarily using your voice wrong, but if you use it long, you're likely to come into like chronic vocal fatigue or potentially vocal damage just from using it a lot and not having the time to rest it. So some of that strength training can be good, and there's also strategies. I sort of agree with this. I think strength training should come first, and you need to look at like what are the things that I need my voice to be able to do, and you want to strength train it in that regard. But even like belting strength training is great for just general vocal longevity. But you'll want to also itemize what are the challenges of using my voice in the position that I'm in. So let me pull up a clip. Okay. Well, I'm seeing you. Oh, thank you so much for helping out with the grilling.
Yeah,
and
course.
if you have like voice stuff, feel free like interrupt. This is yours. This is your space as well.
All right.
Well, my grill master's
Bye.
leaving, so it's all over for us. See you. Thanks so much, Nate.
Yeah, no problem.
And feel free to take something to go if you want.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. See ya. So yeah, there is a video. I'll play it later because like copyright during live stream. I don't know. But Seattle Voice Institute has something about, if you look up glottal strikes or glottal onsets, Seattle Voice Institute has a video on it where they talk about ways you can put a micro H in your words. So instead of saying like, the lazy dog jumps over the quick fox, I can't remember how that sentence goes, that gives like a sample of every letter. If I say like the lazy dog, like that, which is very glottal, like your vocal cords have like pulsed together more. If I do like the lazy dog jumps over the quick brown fox, and I'm so sure that's not how it goes. So if I have this like slight bit, yeah. So something like that. That's how you can sort of tell you're doing this more like micro H, and that is a little bit lower impact for your voice and is more sustainable. The quick brown fox runs in there. Oh my god. Okay, so that's the question on the belt thing. Oh, YouTube. I forgot to check YouTube again. Is there a pop test for M2 versus M3? I am sorry if... I don't know. I do not even know. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so M2 to M3. So M3 is also known as whistle register. For those of you that are unfamiliar, so M2 is like head voice or falsetto, and M3 is whistle register. So M2, M3. So switching between the two, you can get it if you're very forceful about it. You can get like a passaggio, but I feel there's almost just like a discontinuity of sound. You don't get this like very big pop like you do between M1 and M2. So the M1 and M2 is M1 to M2. Do you hear that pop as I go to M2? So that switch is very audible as opposed to the M2 to M3. You'll feel it, but it's not as audible. So like, do you hear kind of like a switch? Let's see if I can get like an F to F. Add higher octave, add high octave again. So F5 to F6. So doing that entirely in M2, they're like, but if I switch to M3 instead as I go to the top, you hear like that kind of like awkward switch. You feel the switch a lot more than it's audible. You don't get like a clean break like with M1 and M2. But yeah, there is a sort of pop there. But you have to be very discerning. Okay. Let's see if there is... Is it bad to sing with an injured lip? I mean, don't do a lot of consonants that involve your lip, but your lip doesn't directly control your voice, so you should be fine. And, oh, I thought you had a question.
Well, I sort of do.
Please ask a question.
Are there different mechanisms of vibrato?
Okay, so there's no mechanisms applies more to like the laryngeal vibratory mechanism. So M0, M1, M2, M3. Those are different than vibrato. Those are patterns for how your vocal cords sort of like vibrate. And vibrato is more of like how your voice vibrates. So like the pitch vibrates is called laryngeal vibrato. So that's like, if you want some show and tell, feel free to feel my throat as I do vibrato. Like, please feel. Did you feel that motion? But then there's like diaphragmatic vibrato, which, okay, this is even more fun. Okay, so hand on my diaphragm, and please, LaDonna, right?
Yeah.
Please come over and feel free to feel this happening as well. So diaphragm, you can feel it. You can feel like,
Yeah.
you can feel my breaths in and out. Okay. Okay, so now one hand on my throat as well. It's like Twister. Okay, and you as well. One hand. Okay, awesome.
Is that room?
So, okay, so yes, there's room. Okay, so laryngeal vibrato. Diaphragmatic vibrato. Do you hear how like the Is there anything else? I guess while you're here, I might as well demonstrate high larynx and low larynx.
Okay.
Oh, keep put your hands on larynx this time. Okay, so this is a bonus demonstration. Some people get freaked out by this. So a lot of people are like, you have to like change the pitch of your voice in order to sound like more masculine or more feminine. But one of the better ways to do it is actually by changing your larynx height. So if I lift my larynx higher, do you feel my larynx lift higher? That changes the voice to make it more feminine. Do you feel how my larynx lift up as opposed to when I go back down neutral?
Okay. Yeah.
So lift it up for a more feminine voice, and then I can put it down for a more masculine voice. Do you hear the difference? And do you feel the difference in my as I do that? Okay. And then in addition to laryngeal vibrato, there's also laryngeal trill, which is used in opera. So like a I do feel like that, like it's essentially the same as vibrato. It's like except it's just wider. So okay.
Wow.
This is the demonstration. Feel free to be part of this, Josh! Okay, so, yeah, that is the different mechanisms of producing vibrato. Other vibratos include hammer vibratos, like, so those are all different ways of producing vibrato, but I don't call them mechanisms in the same way that I talk about M1, M2, and 3. It gets more complicated when you deal with laryngeal vibrato, but with like diaphragmatic vibrato, aka tremolo. I much prefer to call it tremolo.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Zeddy. I prefer to call that tremolo. That doesn't even happen in the larynx, so I don't call it a mechanism because it has nothing to do with that. And then even like laryngeal vibrato, it's different.
And the diaphragmatic, if you're able to control it well enough, you can do that without changing the pitch.
Yeah, to a certain degree. But because one of the variables, okay, so we asked, for those of you that can't hear, unless the mic is all the way up on us, wait, where did my phone go? Did my phone fall underneath the cushions? Oh, no. That would have been funny. You all were listening to my butt this entire time. So, we just got a question about diaphragmatic vibrato, and can you study pitch during diaphragmatic vibrato? I think it's maybe impossible. It's impossible to study pitch absolutely just by itself. So diaphragmatic vibrato, it's like, again, with the heartbeat type thing, destabilizing your voice. Like if you thought that would destabilize your voice, wait till you see tremolo. So just having pulses of air can destabilize your voice. And one of the variables that can control pitch is also air pressure. So anything that affects air pressure can act minutely, at least, on pitch. So you can get more and more control to the point where like the main thing you hear is just the tremolo. It's like like that's an example of my voice is like breaking because of the, and you can barely hear the tremolo, but like now you can hear just the vibrato itself more.
This question is just opinion.
Yeah.
Why do people sometimes say she's just a good karaoke singer?
Okay, so the question for those of y'all can hear is like, why do some people say she's just a good karaoke singer, supposed to be an actual singer? I think like good karaoke singer, that tends to be assigned to people that are good mimics, that can do the song just as it's done, but they don't innovate much with how they deliver the song. Is where I've seen that used, where it's like, oh, I only do certain songs by certain people that use this exact thing because that's the one thing that I do. And I want to do a song where that happens, as opposed to someone that's like, I can bring my voice to any song and I can like meet the demands of several different kinds of songs, and I can do different things on a given song that maybe the original singer didn't do. That's a good question. Okay. I have a much more nasally sound in my voice when I go above F3 that isn't there when I sing lower. Is that just because I'm not comfortable with those notes yet? Dang, you must be like a super bass if you are getting difficulty above F3. First, make sure that you're getting nasality and not twang. This is nasal. This is twang. So depending on which one of those you get, it's a different thing. If you're using twang, that's probably a symptom of being strained. I would like do stuff like yawns. Try to like yawn your high notes, and that'll hopefully keep you from doing twang. Is the larynx supposed to move during vibrato? Yeah, it moves. It doesn't move super wildly, but it moves. Y'all felt it move, right, during vibrato? Yes, that's 2 yeses. Um, you can use diaphragmatic vibrato to sound like a regular vibrato. So if I'm like, that's tremolo, but that's me using my diaphragm. But it's me using it to sound like it. In fact, do you want to verify that it's verify for the kids at home that this is diaphragmatic? So, oh yeah, we're there. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that's like, okay, you're feeling it every time you hear a pulse. So yeah, that's me using diaphragmatic vibrato in a way that sounds like vibrato, but it's inefficient, and tremolo is just being used. It can be used for way better things. It's like laryngeal, where I don't have to do all that pulsing, and it's not as tiring. I don't run out of breath as quickly. Hammer vibrato to support the notes in a run while learning it. No, I think it'll probably just lead to more inaccuracy. I wouldn't try it, but I'd have to hear more specifically what you're going for. Okay. I think we're starting to wind down for the live stream. The in-person will keep going, especially because I got to get rid of this meat. Okay. If I don't get a if someone trolls in the next, okay. If I don't get a serious question from y'all in the next 2 seconds, I'm gone. So I'm not gonna wait for y'all to say, what register is my butt? I said butt. I'm not playing this game with you children today. Do hammer vibrato? There.
And what is physically happening when you
I think it's glottal pulsation.
Okay.
So it's like I'm kind of keeping my glottis sort of tight and allowing air to sort of break it apart. I think the way you can feel it is you can feel the buzz of my voice, and you'll feel discontinuity in that buzz. So if you want to feel, and you can feel, anybody else wants to feel can feel as well. So with laryngeal vibrato, you'll feel my larynx move up and down, but you'll feel a continuous buzz.
Yes.
You feel my larynx moving up and down, but there's still that buzz. But then larynx is moving up and down, but you feel discontinuity. It's buzzing, it's not buzzing. It's buzzing, it's not buzzing. Is that what you felt? Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think. Huh?
The hammer vibrato that they were asking a question about, why would you ever use that?
Some people use it to sound more aggressive, like Shakira does. It's usually an extended technique. It's not something that you just use. You can tone it down and make it sound relatively normal. But I don't really advocate using that for a stand-in for regular vibrato. Just use regular vibrato.
Shakira as an example. I'm trying to run through a song of hers in my head to hear it.
That's one of the reasons why people say she sounds like a goat. She sounds like a goat partly because of their connotal. I'm on tonight, my hips don't lie. That's not the yodel isn't quite it. It's in the similar vein, but it's not a hammer vibrato. But I can't think of a song where she specifically goat vibrato. The only thing I can think of right now, she does very interesting cover of "We Are Young" by Pat Benatar, or "Love Is a Battlefield." Sorry, "Love Is a Battlefield." Covered by Shakira with Mary J. Blige. It was a very interesting moment. It was really interesting. It was interesting. And I know at one time she's do you know if the line goes believe me, I dun 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 dun. What's that line?
I'm trapped by your love and I'm chained to your side.
Believe me, I'm trapped by your love.
Trapped by your love. Trapped by your love and I'm chained to your side.
But it's believe me. I can't tell you why. That's the line I was looking for. So it's she's believe me, I can't tell you why. It's just she does something like that. It was a lot. It was a lot. I can't tell you why. but That's one of the reasons she called it goat. Cause like this sounds kind of goaty, but like when you combine it with it's like it's just it's complete perfect goat. Um, man. Okay, so Zeddy asks, do you need to have open quotient to sound feminine? There's times when I'm in a meeting for a while, my open quotient goes out the window, and I think I sound like Franny. I don't know who Franny is, but to sound feminine. Okay, so um, yes, it's possible. Like, uh, so having a higher open quotient is when my voice sounds like this, as opposed to sounding more like this, where it has more buzz in it. See the difference between like this is a higher closed quotient, and this is a higher open quotient. Do you hear how? Yeah, it's a lot softer, but I can still be loud with this. Like it's not necessarily quieter. Do you hear how my voice is getting louder, but I'm not getting more solid? Suppose if I let my voice get more solid as I get louder, do you hear like the heaviness? So when I take that heaviness out of my voice, that's having a higher open quotient. So that's one thing that trans people do, especially to feminize their voices if they want to sound like more feminine. Um, I'll do the trans voice assembled. So you have talking at a higher pitch by itself doesn't really do much to change your voice. Like if I just talk the way I sound normally, it doesn't sound that much more feminine just by speaking at a higher pitch, right? It just sounds like I'm talking at a higher pitch.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'll agree with that.
Okay, so I'm gonna act like I actually have like maybe like 2 cubic units of testosterone in my entire body and speak with like a baseline lower voice that sounds more masculine. So if I take this voice and I just speak at a higher pitch with this voice, it doesn't sound super feminine, right? Okay, yeah, it just sounds like I'm at a higher pitch. So you can increase your pitch. Doesn't do a whole lot. But then I can also make my embouchure smaller. And this makes me sound a little bit lispier. That makes me sound a little bit more feminine. And then I can increase my open quotient, and that will make me sound even more feminine. And then I can raise my larynx up, and that all together will make me sound more feminine. So they're talking about if you have like everything else in your voice sounding pretty feminine, you don't want to have as high of an open quotient, or it drops lower because like throughout the course of the day your voice might get tired and open quotient can be harder to maintain at first. So if I start getting a higher closed quotient, my voice isn't as light, it starts to get a little bit more weighty. I can still sound feminine, but my voice might sound older or a bit more tired or a bit heavier, depending on how you look at it. So I would say this like sounds feminine, but if anything, I prefer to lean into the quotient and less into the higher larynx. Audio's gone. Dang. Dang. All that for nobody. Well, hopefully y'all got something from it in person. Well, I think I am probably going to stop because it's really depressing, like fighting with this technology and losing. But thank you for your questions. And if you like what you heard and you want to support, please consider Patreon in the description of this video. Oh, let me check the video to see if there's any. No. Please check the description of this video and one of the admins, like, link. Hey, you here for the voice thing?
For 403?
For 403, no, this is 201.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in your building today.
Yes, there is a lot apparently. I think they're stealing all my traffic. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to help me out and have me not have sad parties by myself with a potato for a mic, please consider donating on Patreon, and you will get rewarded depending on your donation tier. Thank you very much. I am sick of this unproductive technology. So, bye.